In this episode of the Book of the Beast, we're going to be talking about desperate allies again. I got a request to talk about something besides Tau for his desperate allies, and this time we'll be talking about Necrons. If I get it right. Necrons as desperate allies. And Necrons, actually, the new book is just absolutely amazing. So let's talk about what kind of things, again, let's briefly go over the points of desperate allies that you want. Things to do, and basically we want to try and keep your allies away from each other, and the way to do that is reserves: deep strike, outflanking, infiltrate, and flyers. And the Necrons are great at that, specifically flyers. So what we're talking about here is just a really simple detachment, give you a lot of punch, a lot of resiliency, and some really good flyers that are far better than Ork flyers. So we just basically we'll just do a simple, very simple allied detachment. So HQ will just do a Lord with a scythe or scythe. No reason to get any more complicated than that. I mean, you could go to an Overlord if you wanted to, but I really don't see any reason for it. And it gives you a very nice HQ choice with some decent anti-vehicle power. And then for troops, we're going to put both troops into night scythes. And for this, depending on the points, it's really not that much. So we've got 15 warriors in a scythe, and 14 warriors in a scythe. And of course, 14 warriors, that we have room for your HQ. That way your entire Necron detachment stays off the board. They do have objective secured because it's going to be a allied detachment. And they're going to come on and really do a lot of damage with the invasion beams. You got your flyers flying on, you got the guys dropping out. And because that first turn they come in, of course, you don't have to worry about the lookout surge because that's at the beginning of the turn. So they can come in, fly in, beam down, and do whatever they need to do without having to worry about any lookout surge. Or not lookout surge, but one-eye open rolls. I'm going to have to worry about the next turn depending on where you put them. But that's completely up to how the game turns out. This is just a really simple detachment. It's not a lot of points, and it'll provide an incredible punch to your Ork army. And the Necron flyers, as I said, are far superior to the Ork flyers. There's just no question about it. The Ork flyers are just too weak. And that extra point of armor really does make a difference, because now they're no longer susceptible to just most small arms fire in the form of bolters and stuff like that. And even strength 5 can only glance them. And the points here is just so cheap that it's really not going to be, it's not going to be that big a deal. So it's going to be about 300-ish points per. And then the Lord's not going to be a whole lot, because Lords are cheap. Yeah, Lords are going to be really cheap. So you're going to be running 700 points, so it's a little bit more than the Chaos Space Marine Allied Detachment, but this provides an incredible amount of punch. Of course, you can just drop the number of warriors down to 10 each, just to save a few points here, if you wanted to. But I think maxing out the units, in this case, is probably going to be a good idea. It'll give you a lot of resiliency because they have the 4-up armor save, they have their reanimation protocols. This is just a great little detachment to go along and provide air support and a lot of bodies on the ground. With a lot of firepower and a lot of resiliency, because these things are kind of hard to kill. The other option, of course, is you just go pure out cheese, and that we're going to go with just using a single, because there's no reason why. Where is that? Where'd it go? Yep. This is just a single detachment or data slate or formation. That's the word. And that is a cheaty and optic harvest. This can be added to literally any army because it is just a formation. There's nothing to stop you from using formations in just about any build you want. And this Canoptic Harvest is such an amazing formation. It's kind of hard to pass it up. It isn't going to give you any of those benefits of the, it's not going to give you any of the tricks to try and get away from the one eye open rules. So you're just going to have to deploy smartly. But this provides such an incredible punch. It's worth it. The Canoptic Harvest is something you're probably going to face a lot too if you play against Necrons. And it's just very hard to deal with. So what you have is one spider. One unit of wraiths. So there's 1 unit, and 1 unit of scarabs. Okay, so all of these units by themselves are amazing. Scarabs are great, wraiths are great, and the spider is great. So the spider gives you a monstrous creature. So there's only 3 wounds, 3 up armor save, but it's really good. You can keep it hiding because what it's going to do is this whole unit's then going to have move through cover, which they really already have. The scarabs are already beasts, the wraiths already ignore cover. So it's really not a big benefit, but it does help the spider. And relentless, again, that's not going to do anything. But here's what the thing is. Adaptive subroutines. At the start of each of your controlling player's movement phases, choose one of the following special rules. Fleet, reanimation protocols, shred. The Canoptic Spider and its formation, all the units from this formation within 12 inches of the spider benefit from the effects. So you're going to have wraiths and scarabs with reanimation protocols. You're not going to be running the big formation that gives them a 4-up reanimation protocols, but it doesn't matter. Wraiths at toughness 5, 2 wounds, 3 up invul save, and basically what becomes feel no pain at a 5-up is incredible. And I said you can run this in literally any army, but this is definitely a close combat assault type formation, which really, really complements your Ork army because it's probably what you're going to be doing anyway. And it's one of those things that this can absorb so much damage between the 3-up invul saves, toughness 5. So very few things in instant death, these guys. And then they have the reanimation protocols on top of that. This is an incredible way to add a big punch to your Ork army, or pretty much any army. But Orks only being desperate allies as opposed to come to the apocalypse is going to gain some benefit of this over, say, something from the Imperium. But this is a formation. Just take this formation. Don't worry about anything else from the Necron army. There's going to be some investment here because you're probably going to spend, this isn't even all that much. I mean, really. I mean, these guys are going to be like 200-ish points, maybe 300. How much is that spider? I don't think the spider costs anything for what you get out of it. Where is it? Yeah, this guy's 50 points. These guys, I think you can go up to 5 or 6. So even with the whip coils, we're talking less than 200 points, and these guys are cheap too. So this is going to be a major, super cheap detachment. It's going to add a lot of punch. I mean, a lot of punch to your Orks, and it's going to be very, very resilient. You don't have to give them any support. All you have to do is take this detachment, deploy, keep it 6 inches away from your Orks, and let your opponent worry about them. Again, just run up and beat the crap out of stuff. So it's nice they added that as a formation because anyone can take it. So those are going to be the 2 main options I would consider if you're going to be running Necrons as a desperate ally. A simple flyer formation and the super cheaty, super powerful formation of spiders and wraiths. So that's what I'm going to cover this episode of Book of the Beast. I'll talk to you guys later.